This painting I did 3 years into my art journey. This painting I did 4 or 5 years into my art journey. What I'm trying to tell you is that there is a method to get good at anything fast. So the things that I'm gonna tell you are not things that I've thought about. I actually have evidence to show to you that anybody can learn anything and become an expert at something quickly. There's no way you could find a painter in a 5-mile radius who could paint the way that I could paint. Now, there are better painters than me, right? But for being a painter for 5 years, it's very hard to find someone who's a little bit better than me, right? So because of that, that's why I believe the strategies that I'm gonna teach you today can make you an expert in anything, right? I have over 7 YouTube channels that are successful. At one point, I was a Bible teacher and I was a successful evangelist from 14 to 18. I teach meditation. I worked as a therapist, not a therapist, as a child counselor. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I've applied the things that I'm gonna teach you guys and I've seen results. I've gotten good at marketing. I've gotten a lot of things that I want to tell you guys about. So today I'm going to show you these principles in 6 simple principles, okay? And these are the ones that I follow all the time and I've seen results. There's not one thing that you can't set your mind to if you have the right system. Oh, fuck. It's all about having the right system. So the first thing to becoming an expert in anything is that your intention matters, meaning the purpose why you want to be an expert in something matters more than almost anything else. If you're doing it just for money, your motivation wouldn't be as high. Why? Well, because money can only motivate you to a certain degree, right? And what we want to be able to do is to want to do something for years, to be able to do it long term. And unfortunately, money has a very short-term motivation. What will happen is that you'll do it for a while and then you'll lose motivation. That's literally what happens. So you have to be careful with trying to do things for money. You have to look for what Robert Greene calls your natural inclinations are the things that when you were a child, you wanted to do. For example, with me, I always liked drawing when I was a kid, right? I didn't draw good, but I noticed that when I was a kid, I gravitated towards drawing. Now, I was not trying to get a career as an artist, but sometimes you have to start with something that doesn't make you money. The reason why that is, you want to start the engine of your natural inclination. Start with something that sparks a fire within you. Once you know what that is, which is your natural inclination, then you can take the other steps, because when you start with money, I'm telling you, you're just not gonna do it. That's the first thing. And remember, you look for it when you were a kid. Was it maybe that you like culture? Maybe you like drawing. Maybe you like patterns. Maybe you like numbers. Maybe you like gossip, movies. Who gives a fuck? Just learn how to focus. Learn how to become obsessed with something, even if it doesn't make you money. Then you can learn, you can use what in that thing and transfer it to something else, right? You first have to learn. The process of learning is something that a lot of people just don't know because they are what? Impatient. And usually people are impatient when they're going after money. That's just the truth, people. That's just the truth, right? So with that being said, the next point is you gotta have long-term vision. When I began painting, I didn't say to myself, I wanna be an artist. I wanna be a great painter in the next year. No. I said to myself, I want to be a great painter in the next 10 years. I gave myself 10 years to master art. And you know what happened? I didn't master art, but I became a very good painter in less than 3 years. You wanna know why? Because when you go slow, when you allow yourself to go slow, you take the long route. And usually the longest route is the shortest route. But also paradoxically, the shortest route equals the longest route. Don't try to speed up the process. Go the slowest route. When you do that, you'll notice that you don't take shortcuts. So because of that, you learn the details of your craft. You go slow. You allow yourself to absorb the information in without trying to speed it up. Why? Because speeding it up always slows down your growth. The next thing, this is actually very important. Notice the most common advice in your field. So what does that mean? When we're trying to learn something from people, we actually just gravitate towards the most complicated advice, because usually the most common advice, to be perfectly honest with you, is the best advice. So just look in your field, find out the most common advice that people in your field say that most people don't follow it, and just focus on that. I swear to God, just look for the most common advice that most people don't follow and follow that advice. For example, with YouTube, one of the advice that you hear the most is research. Research, 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 research. I found out from Mr. Beast, he does 1 hour of research every day. And then I realized most people don't do that. So what did I literally began doing that, and I swear to God, that is literally one of the best things I've done with my channel because it actually helps it grow faster. With painting, I heard the advice to draw geometric patterns, to do a lot of still lifes, and so because of that, I would do 3 or 4 hours worth of still lifes every single day. And what that did to me, it was boring as hell. But because I was doing something that was very difficult, that was something that most people weren't doing, my growth as an artist accelerated. Do the things that people tell you to do that most people don't do, and I swear to God, you will grow faster. Because most people are just lazy. Most people really don't do anything that people tell them to. The next thing, this is a very important one, because motivation, we are social creatures, all right? You are a human animal, and because of that, you are social. One of the quickest ways to learn anything is to do it around other people. For example, with art, I was painting by myself for years. But then I began going to art school, right? And why? Because I realized that if I painted with other people, my learning process gets faster. So what I realized is that I wasn't a good painter. Why? Because I saw other painters who were younger than me and better than me. Right? So what that did to me made me realize I had a lot to grow, because when you are alone, when you're trying to learn things on your own, you start to create a delusion that you're better than you really are. Martial arts with other people. If you want to learn how to play the drums, because I played the drums when I was younger, do the drums with other people. If you want to learn how to swim, swim with other people. I meditate. So you know what I go to now are silent meditation retreats. My meditation practice got a Kaioken freaking Super Saiyan boost when I started going to meditation retreats. Do things with other people. If you're trying to be a YouTuber, make YouTuber friends. If you're trying to become a better basketball player, you'll notice that the best basketball players train with their friends. You have to do it in a social setting. If you want to get good at hiking, hike with other people, right? This will keep you wanting to keep doing it. So the social aspect is very important. I have a drawing group in Mexico and I have a meditation group. Why? Because that's what I do. And I know that if I draw with other people, I get more creative. Now, the next one is very important. You want to get a mentor, right? And naturally, you're going to get a mentor when you do the last step that I said, be social. You're going to find people who you admire. You're going to find people who you like. And make sure that when you do find those people, don't feel jealous. Feel an admiration for them, right? Realize that there are people who are better than you at something. And if you don't respect them and submit yourself to them, you're gonna have a delusional sense of self where you think you're better than everybody, but you're not. You need someone who's better than you. You need feedback. And sometimes the only way to get that is to find somebody who is doing exactly what you want and offer them your service for free so that you can learn from them. Or just be their friend, right? But that naturally happens when you practice around other people, right? When you are social and do with other people. So if you draw, find someone in that drawing group that draws really well and learn from them. Trust me, most people are flattered to teach you what they know. Now, it's important to keep the motivation up. If you keep your mind, I swear to God, right? If you keep yourself social, sometimes you got to keep that motivation up. And one of the things that I did was when I was living with my mom, I was broke as hell, but I didn't have any belief in myself. So what I did, I started to look for people who motivated me. So you get inspiration by reading biographies. For example, I loved reading the biographies of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall, like a version by Richard Branson, even Leonardo da Vinci by Walter Isaacson. Sometimes reading biographies and hearing the person's stories tells you whether you should do it or not. Literally just reading the biographies of people you admire will tell you if you're meant to do that. If you read the biographies and it motivates you, it's a sign. So keep reading biographies. Notice how they start. And you'll notice in the biographies of the most successful people, they usually learned the long way. They usually had a very slow beginning, and then after 10 or 15 years, it accelerated. But usually, what you guys have to understand, most people suck at things. Most people are really bad at the things that they do. So being mediocre a lot of the times is good enough to make money. I swear to God. Honestly, I became a much better painter than 90% of artists in the first year. And the reason why that was because I literally took it slow. I took that shit slower than the fucking hair people. And that allowed me to learn faster. Just look at the details in your field And you'll notice that the secret is in the detail. But when you're trying to do things quick, trying to get good in 1 year, you're not gonna learn. Trust me, you're gonna fail, all right? And this is how you do it, people. If you guys enjoy this type of content, hit the like, and don't forget, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.